Yo, what's going on YouTube? What's going on, everybody? It's the Nerd Talk crew back with another episode of Nerd Talk, my episode 152. I'm here with my awesome co-host, Tyler, aka a nerd. What's going on, my guy?
Not much, man. Had a stressful day at work. I closed last night, opened tonight. Opened this morning. Not fun. Not fun. But
I feel it.
as usual, the best part of my nights is Wednesday night. The best part of the week is Wednesday night. Well,
Yes, sir. Same here. I mean, I won't say it was a stressful day at work, but it was a day at work. Had a nice workout with my wife. We actually got through it. I didn't feel like going to work out, but I feel like the days when you don't feel like going, you actually have a good workout. So I just said, F it, let me go ahead and just go. 45 minutes, got the workout done. Just had some breakfast for dinner. Now I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's get it. Let's go. So yeah, let's go ahead and just go right into the first news story we got. Well, the first topic we got today, and of course, that is The Last of Us season 2, episode 4. What a great episode! What a great episode
at the halfway point.
Yes,
season 2, which I feel like for me, this season is going by way quicker than season 1 in a good way.
Yeah, I think it helps that they are kind of we're moving at a fast pace, and two, they've been almost accurate to the way the game is formatted. I mean,
which is funny because I have issues with the game, but everything they changed I've enjoyed, but the things that are the same I am enjoying. So
yeah, I'm just surprised of how easy paced this show is. Now this is another one where I'm really ready to see how it is on the rewatch, like as a binge, because I did that with the first season and I kind of loved it a little more as I binged it. So I guess we'll see whether or not when this season is over how
it's gonna fly by.
Yeah, I agree because even this episode kind of flew
in the
by.
Chat, what's going on? I actually took him to see Thunderbolts. He wasn't really excited for it, but he actually ended up loving it.
Awesome.
What's going on, Luke?
But yeah, let's go to get some of our favorite moments of the episode, man. I mean, right off the bat, we get Isaac. We see his back. We see, kind of sort of his origin story, I guess, because in the game we don't really see that much of him. We only see like 2 scenes of him, and they're all like where they're all interacting with Abby. We never see him from Ellie's point of view. But the fact that we got to see him, and it is Jeffrey Wright back. He voiced him in the game, and they actually brought him back for the same character, which is awesome.
He's so good.
Yes, I mean it's Jeffrey Wright, man. Come on, let's get it, man. He eats it up in every scene. That interrogation scene with the Seraphite, gold. It's just gold.
That was intense. I thought that that pan was going right in his Seraphites, if you know what I mean. I was like, oh man, I don't know. That was rough. This episode was very good. It was another solid season, and people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that I'm enjoying this season more than season 1. It is the honest truth. I think this season has really just kept me wanting to watch week to week. There was a point in season 1 where I got actively annoyed watching it. Not that it was bad. It kept disappointing me over and over again to the point where I was like, I don't care. Like, I remember when we got to the finale, I was like, this is going to disappoint me even before I pressed play. And sure enough, it did. I haven't felt that way this season at all.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they're playing this. They're playing out the scenarios very well, even if they feel like quick pace. Like for instance, the subway scene. I feel like we did get through that real quick because in the game it doesn't feel that fast. But you got to think about we're adding in the gameplay. Like the gameplay makes it longer than what it is. But I love the way they constructed it as well. I mean, they listened to the comments about the first season and we said, oh, there's not that much infected. Oh, okay. We're going to show you there's going to be some infected. Now let's see how they feel about the rest of the season, whether or not have we already been hit with too much infected.
Well, I feel like The Last of Us Part 2, in Ellie's part, there wasn't that much infected past this point. I feel like from this point on, it's Fedra,
WLF.
WLF, and shit.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
I'm fine with that. I feel
Agree.
like I feel like the only big grand infected sequence we're gonna get is the Abby part where she's got to escape from the island. But you
Right.
see, in this portion with Last of Us Part Two, I'm okay with there not being infected because in the game, that's not what it was about.
Right.
It was a lot more WLF and Fedra.
Right.
Now, in the first game with the first season, I complained about that because it was mostly all infected.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
complained about it. Here,
Yeah.
I don't care if there's really no infected. As long as they're running away from something, I
Right,
don't
right.
care.
It helps that there's a really a big antagonist throughout the entire season. You're right, because season one, where we got hit with when they went to Kansas City, and then they got hit by David's group. But when they're out on the road, you're right. They're just they aren't doing anything besides hiding from infected, or trying to get through areas because there's infected in the area. If I'm not mistaken, I felt like they kind of did a missed opportunity with the first season when they was inside the underground campsite, because there's a lot of infected there too from the people that used to live there. So I kind of they kind of missed the bar on that scene, but for this, I mean, I think they're doing it well. Of course, there's a lot of things in Seattle they don't do, like we don't get the bank scene where they go into like the vault,
Well,
which I love that sequence. Obviously, most of that stuff is kind of like if it's there,
option.
you missed it. Yeah, those are optional moments. You can literally just go straight through and not go to any places
Yeah.
in that area,
I
which
do
I feel
that
like
every. I go to every place every time, no matter how many
I
times
do.
I played it.
I agree. I mean,
I do it all the
I
time.
love the interactions and the dialogue between the characters, which I do. Speaking of the show, I mean, I got to give Bella Ramsey and Isabel Marcet. They did an amazing job in this episode.
I
I
think
mean, their
Isabella Marcet,
chemistry.
man,
Yes,
I think she's probably my favorite part about this season so far. I think
yes,
I think she's done such a good job, and I've happily eaten crow this whole season because you guys know before this season came out, I was not big on Isabella Merced at all because she had just been in Madam Web, which was fucking terrible. She was not great in it. And just even before that, I hadn't seen her in anything really good, but she here is phenomenal. Um, Really nothing this season has really bothered me other than the fact that they look like little kids. They don't look like they don't look like they can actually like fight these people.
yeah. But I love. So we get the scene where they go to the TV station, and we see the
Man, talk about
WLF.
perfectly adapting a sequence, though.
Yes, yes, they did an amazing job. I mean, even down to the T where the WLF come in, and you don't see them, but you see them from Ellie's perspective
Yeah,
or Dina's perspective, and it's just like in the game where if you're focused on us and you can hear them in the background talking about, oh my god, like blah blah blah. It's like it kind of gave me that type of feel while watching the show.
it definitely did.
And I think they did a great job. But going back to my point was, she couldn't just take the one guy down. She needed help. She needed help taking the guy down. It kind of was funny because, like, man, she got a knife. Why she ain't just immediately stab him when she jumped
That's
on
what
him?
I thought.
You know?
I'm sitting there watching it. She's hiding behind him. He's not moving. I'm like, press triangle, grab him.
Yes, yeah. Triangle and then stealth kill, like immediately cut. He not gonna say anything. He's done. But I did like the fact that they did. The other guy came in. Dina got involved, and that's why they had to run away because they have to get chased by them because they have to they have to go into the tunnel system. Because just like in the game where they almost get caught, but they have to run away, and they end up in the subway. They end up in the tunnel system, and that's where all the infected is down there. Which, like I said, is one of my favorite sequences because I kind of don't kill them. I allow the infected to kill them. Like I don't do anything. I after the infected kill everyone, I kill the infected after that. I'll just throw a Molotov, and that's all I kept thinking. Like, damn, where's the Molotovs at? Like, goddamn, that's all I kept thinking about.
I love the little the little detail. It was funny. I was watching this episode. I was like, if they ever wanted to incorporate them hearing and listening, how would they do that?
Listening mode.
Somebody fucking heard me because sure enough, we get a scene where she's listening for the clickers and she goes 1, 2,
And she's
3,
counting every
4,
time
five.
because
I
she
loved
notices
it.
different. She notices different sounds. It's not the same sound. You
Yeah.
know,
Which I mean, if I was Ellie, I'd be pissed at Dina telling me there's only fucking 5, and then all
Yeah, there's
that
a
shit
whole
comes
hundred. There's
flowing
hundreds.
out.
There's hundreds of them. It's not just five. It's
Which
five
I
times 100.
Yeah, I love that sequence, man. It reminded me so much of Train to Busan and like Dawn of the Dead and stuff. It
Yeah.
was awesome. It was so intense. And again, this show, even though we know these characters don't survive, they do survive. I mean, Jesus. Um, it gets me invested. This is what
Yeah.
I was talking about with the Abby sequence in
Yes,
episode
F2.
2,
Yeah.
where she was running in the winter. I thought that sequence was phenomenal. I was sitting there like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? Even though I know
Even though
she's not gonna die,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
but that's just
it's
such a good job.
the train sequence had a good detail with that. We're making us feel like these girls might not make it out of here, even though we know they make it out of here, but it just feels like they don't. Just be from the way they were portraying the acting, the stunt performers that were actually playing the infected. We got
Yeah,
to give them credit because I feel like we don't give them enough credit. They're doing an
I
amazing
just
job.
it's crazy how they have hundreds of infected or whatever, and it doesn't look CGI. I don't know if it's CGI.
Well,
It looks all practical.
I think the ones we see on the train car course are real, but sure, like all the ones like behind them, those are probably added on as CGI. But
Kevin, that's not a high bar, A, and B. I
yes, it
do.
will.
We'll talk about Superman later.
Right.
I have thoughts on what's going on with that. Anyway, um, we're at the theater now. We're at the theater. We've
Yes.
hit a critical point in this game. Um,
Well, first, they're getting chased by the infected, and Dina almost gets bitten, and she raises her arm and gets bitten by the infected, and
Ellie,
Dina
yeah.
sees, yeah, Ellie sees it, which is different from the game. That's kind of a switch because in the game there's spores in the air, and her
which
mask gets cracked, and
which I
that's when
find.
Dina freaks out about it.
So I find this weird because I don't mind the change. The change is fine. I find it weird because we see in the preview next week the spores are going to be in this show.
Yeah,
So I don't know how they would have gone around this, but I feel like this would have been kind of a good way to introduce the spores, showing like they walk into this room and they see these little things. They're like, "What the hell is that?"
well,
And then next week we get the answer for that. I don't
I
know.
mean, for me, I think the reason why they haven't introduced it, I think it's more of a climate thing. Like I think because of where they're located, that's why it's in the air. Um, like for instance, for like places like Florida or like California, those most likely where spores would be in the air because the air is more drier and stuff like that.
That would actually be cool if they said it was affected by climate.
Yeah,
Now, obviously, that's not accurate to the game, but I feel like
no,
that would be a kind of a cool thing. Being like, yeah, it's not in Jackson because it's snowing and it's cold, but
yeah, because
in
the
Seattle, it's
climate's changed so much, but places like Seattle or like let's say California, where it stays the same weather throughout the entire year, it might have a different.
that would
Or the
actually be
courses
cool.
might be do different in different climates.
That would be kind of cool. Um, I mean, yeah, there's not really much to say. It was another banger episode. I'm interested in seeing more of Isaac, which is funny because before we came into this episode, I was telling the guys, I was like, yo, I don't remember a single thing about Isaac from the game. So this is gonna be all new stuff. I mean, and it was all new stuff, but I don't really have anything to compare it to. So,
Yeah, it
but
helps that I recently played it, so the scenes that I did get of Isaac, I remember them. Like, there's a scene we get there's an interrogation scene that we don't see, but we see
yeah,
the aftermath of interrogation scene, and then the next time we see him is when Abby and Liv is in the woods and he's there,
mm,
and like I said, spoiler alert, if you guys have not played the game, that's when I think he dies. He gets shot by a character that is about to die as well. So that's what happens to him. Like I said, there's not much we get from him. We hear him in like saying from other people like, "Oh, Isaac wants you, Isaac." So obviously he's the head guy.
I think because it's Jeffrey Wright and it's live action, they're gonna bring him in and have him be featured a lot more in Abby's part. Which,
Oh yeah, for sure.
if they're
Sure.
going to use Jeffrey Wright to bring some levity to her storyline, go for it, bro. I think
Yeah, for sure.
making him this menacing threat and making Abby question her ideologies with the WLF and shit, that's perfect to me. I think that's a much more natural thing for them to do.
Yeah. I am going back to, yeah, we're at the theater and they kind of switched this up too. So in the game, everyone is talking about this comparison with Abby's, or not Abby, Ellie's reaction to hearing that Dina is pregnant. So in the game, she's kind of upset about it, but in the show, she's more excited about it, which I do like this change. I like that she is excited for this. I kind of like the way they changed up the whole Dina and Ellie love story. I'm sorry, I do. Like I feel
Yeah,
like the way they did it in the game, they just, even though we know they like each other, they kind of just hook up because they're in a they're stuck somewhere. But in this, it feels more earnest and honest because both of them just revealed a big secret about one another. And we've got other scenes prior to, basically, like I was talking about earlier, where Dina is watching Ellie sing this song, and you can see it in her eyes that she's literally in that moment falling in love with Ellie. Like in her eyes, you can see it. And that's why I got to give credit to Isabel Arcet. She did an amazing job with this episode. And yeah, I kind of like that they did them hooking up in this way, other than them just hooking up because they were getting high. So I do like this whole thing, and it feels more genuine, and it feels like their relationship grew because of this moment. Because she revealed that she was pregnant, which a lot of people didn't think whether or not we were going to get the storyline. I was like, yeah, we're going to get this storyline. You have to bring stakes. I kind of felt, I knew they weren't just going to abandon the pregnancy storyline for Dina. Um, but like I said, I loved Ellie's reaction to finding out she was pregnant. She's like, I'm going to be a dad, and of course, she says she's going to be a dad because she only identifies with a father, not a mother, which I love. So, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm done. I didn't really have any more thoughts on it. The episode, I was just, I'm like I said, I'm very much enjoying this season. I think, for again, somehow, I'm kind of loving this season.
Yeah, same.
And it's funny. I think it's because I came into this season very hesitant. And I think they're doing such a good job at adapting a game that I'm conflicted on. And I think the major changes they've made, I'm pretty much fine with, and they've been for the better, in my opinion. I know people that love this game don't want to fucking hear that, and I personally, I don't give a shit.
I'm, I'm,
If you're that mad about it, go play the game.
I'm loving both. Like I think that they're adapting this beautifully for it, and even with the changes, I think they're doing great things with the changes. Like I don't want to say that this episode is my favorite. I think episode two still got it. But like even the way they did that scene, like the attack on Jackson, that's not in the game, and I think they did that beautifully. Like something like that is a great change, for them to do. But yeah, we don't got any more thoughts. Let us know what you guys thought about episode 4 in the comment section below or in the chat. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our main topic of the day. And of course, we're talking about Thunderbolts. And right off the bat, I didn't do a review on my YouTube channel. I haven't done any reviews on my YouTube channel, which is insane. I really didn't even really feel like doing the GTA 6 reaction when I did it yesterday. I just did it because I feel like I needed to do it. And then I got copyrighted, so it really didn't even matter. But
you did a reaction?
I did a reaction for GTA 6, yeah.
I did not get the notification.
Yeah, you probably didn't because I got copyrighted. So
Oh, they took
but
it down?
no, it's still up. You can still watch it, but it's the
Oh,
traffic for it is probably dead because of the copyright. So it's kind of blocking it in certain
damn.
avenues. But
I did not see that.
yeah, so I did do a reaction for that, but I haven't really done any reviews this year. I really haven't been really in the mood to do reviews. So right off the bat, I'm just going to get into my thoughts. I freaking love this movie. I can't stop thinking about it. That's how I know I love this movie. I can't stop. I want to go see it again. Um, I think all the cast of characters are great in this movie. The camaraderie between all the characters were great. Who thought the idea of taking B-level villain characters and putting on all in one movie and making it work? Who thought that was going to work? I guess Marvel believed it, and you could definitely tell by the marketing and everything they believed in this movie. And I kind of wish it would have got more money at the box office because this movie deserves it. It deserves it. I think it got less money than I thought it would be in the box office. It deserves more than 400 to 450 million. It
I
deserves more
mean,
than that in the box
on
office.
a budget of 180 million, that's not bad, bro.
You're right. I mean, you're right. but I believe it deserves more because the movie is way deeper than what we're getting in the trailers and the marketing and all that stuff, which I loved. I love that this movie is a different layer. It goes underneath the skin. It touches on subjects that's like, okay, this is why I like in my Marvel movies. Yeah, showcase me the the comedy and stuff like it will give me a deeper layer. Let me not it's not just Guardians 2, where it's nothing but jokes and stuff. It's deeper than that, which I really enjoyed. Florence Pugh just stole the show for me. Of course, David Harbour's great as White Guardian. Um, Paulman,
Bob.
he surprised me. It's so funny because Glenn from Walking Dead was supposed to play this character, and I can't see it. I just can't now that I seen Will Paulman play this damn role. I just can't see it now because he did a great job as Bob. He did a great job. The way he played his role, he looks like his father a little bit. Certain way he does his face and stuff like that is insane. But yeah, I love this movie.
First of all, since we've established, if people have seen it and don't want to get spoiled and stuff, there you go.
Yeah,
All right.
that's what the asterisk is for.
I love this universe. I do. And it sounds like I'm going to say the movie sucked. I love this movie. I want to talk about something. For for what feels like an eternity, we've been getting disappointment after disappointment in the MCU, and I had people screaming in my face, "Oh, if you don't like it, don't watch. Oh, why are you gonna keep watching them if you're not liking them?" This weekend proved why with flying fucking colors. I don't want to be one of those people that says, "Oh no, I'm not watching them anymore." I've committed too much time. Literally since literally since 2008. I saw Iron Man in the theater. I've been that committed. I've seen 98% of these movies in the theater, and I've watched all the shows. I'm that committed. I'm not just gonna drop on a dime and say I'm not watching these anymore because I love this too much. This weekend proved with fine colors on why I stood with them because I knew deep down if they really want to, they can do it. I know that they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
They proved it in
Yep.
2019 that they can do it. They proved from 2008 all the way to 2019 that they can fucking do it if they really wanted to. We clearly saw from phase 4 to where we're at now that they they were all over the place and they came out and said that they needed to refocus and focus on quality over quantity. And say what you want about Brave New World. People said it was one of the worst comic book movies ever. I can't relate. I liked it a lot. Well, not a
Yeah,
lot.
I
I
can't
liked
relate
it.
to
I
that either.
liked it enough. I liked it enough. It was
Right.
it was
Yep.
okay. If that was the first step, talk about a major step this weekend. And then another major step in 2 months. More than likely. I hope. Um the point I'm trying to make is I I'm glad that I did not give up on them. I love these characters and I love these actors way too much to give up on. That's just how it is. I I love this franchise so much, and I'm glad that we're finally seemingly on a path towards you know where we were. Do I think that we're totally back? We're back. No, we are definitely in the right direction. But the point is I'm glad that I stood by. I'm glad that I didn't just say I'm not watching these in the theater anymore because that to me that's not fair to them. Sure, have they disappointed me a lot? Absolutely, but I'm not gonna sit there and just turn my back on them. They're the MCU is literally one of the core reasons why I am a fan of film and why I do what I want to do and pursuing what I want to do because it's got me that invested and it's made me want to talk about movies, made me want to participate in that engagement, in that interaction. I'm not going to give that up. I'm just not. Good or bad, I'm not going to give that up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like one of these people that just said, they're putting out mid stuff. I'm not watching this crap anymore. Because if I did, I wouldn't have seen this.
Right.
If I did, I wouldn't have been a part of everyone in that theater Thursday night that was clapping and cheering and having a blast. I wouldn't have been getting emotional at the end of this movie because of how much I love these characters, despite people telling me how much these characters suck for the most part. It's a ride that, sure, has it gotten bumpy? Absolutely. But I'm not ashamed to be a part of it. I'm more happy about the fact that, sure, the ride was bumpy, but right now it's getting smoother. And I'm glad to be a part of the fact that we all went into this movie this weekend and we all walked out saying, man, that was really fucking good.
Yep.
That's what it's about to me. Not turning your fucking back because everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm not mad that for every I'm not mad that I suffered through Quantum Mania and really only Quantum Mania. That's the only movie to me that I've hated. Every other movie I've semi liked, but disappointments
Phase.
like Brave New World and Guardians 3. Yes, Guardians 3. Don't start. Um I'm glad that I've stuck out those for movies like Deadpool and Wolverine, Wakanda Forever, Eternals, Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home. I'm not mad at that. You call me an MCU shill, you can call me a Marvel, you call me all the fucking words you want. The point is, I'm happy, and I'm happy to be supporting them in the good or the bad. Now, where we end up next year, come May, with Doomsday, that's another conversation.
Yep.
But the point is I never lost faith, and I really wish a lot of other people didn't, because this movie is actually very special. And the fact that so many people probably just are not going to see it because they are like, oh, I'm not watching that crap. That kind of makes me feel like crap. But
Yeah.
I feel happier that I stuck with it.
Yeah, I definitely understand everything you're saying, and I can also get the people that are kind of like done with the MCU because of everything we gotten. But I also agree that we got to look about what they have given us. They gave us No Way Home. They gave us, as much as people don't like the Eternals. You guys need to go back and watch that movie. I feel like that movie was gonna get appreciated too late. Like, I think people are gonna go back and watch it and actually appreciate what the movie actually meant and what it was saying. Um, you know, they gave people forget Shang-Chi. Like, Shang-Chi's a banger. Like, we've gotten projects after Endgame that are actually pretty fire. But it doesn't help the Endgame was such a big movie. It's like, most people looked at that as an ending that we didn't need to see. They feel like most of these projects are epilogues other than building to another universe. And that's what kind of my issue with the MCU at the moment is that we're getting all these projects, but the reason why the MCU works so well within the first three phases is that we were building to something big. And we've obviously talked about this. We don't feel like we're building to Doomsday, regardless of what this movie and what Fantastic Four does. Building to Doomsday. We just still don't feel like it with all the other projects that we've gotten. But I mean, that's my only issue is that we don't get that connectivity and that cohesive story that we've gotten with the other MCU movies. Goodness gracious, why is my headphones staticky? But yeah, that's really my only issue. But I agree with you. I love this movie, and I've liked almost every single Marvel project as well. We're not going to talk about the shows because She-Hulk, Hawkeye was okay. Daredevil was a banger, but everything else, is like okay. Loki season 1 and 2 were bangers. But everything else, when it comes to the movies, they've been okay. They haven't been the worst thing we've ever seen. Yeah, Ant-Man Quantumania is not good, but it's not the worst thing we've ever seen. That's what I like to tell people too. It's not the worst thing we've ever seen. So,
Yikes.
Goodness gracious. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah. Those are just my opening thoughts. So yeah. Want to go to get into spoilers?
My little brother says this movie was genuinely awesome. I never expected a Marvel movie about the side characters to be this emotional. The fact they went so deep into these characters is so good. Yes.
Well, most of the characters, not all of them.
Well. All right. We shall go beat for beat because it is early and this movie deserves it. So, open the movie. No MCU logo. New MCU intro.
Which I loved.
We keep the same song, which I'm happy about. Please don't change the fanfare. It is perfect. But we get a new intro. It's not, showing all the moments from the MCU, which personally I like the old one better. I love seeing the other movies before we see the new one. I'm talking about the movies. I love seeing that one, but I like this one too. It reminds me of the old school Marvel logo where we see the comics and stuff. But it fades into black, which I was kind of bummed about. It's the first time we get it, and it's altered. I was like, well, fuck. And it's probably going to be altered for Fantastic Four to a 1960s theme, and the Doomsday is probably going to be altered too. Like, damn. Well, who knows? Maybe. Oh no, they don't even do it for the Disney Plus shows anymore. They do the Marvel television.
They do the Marvel television. Spider-Man might not get it altered.
Yeah. So we open, and Yelena is basically, she's monologuing in her head. She's that she's an agent for Valentina, and that she feels like she's drifting, and at points it feels like a void. Which that word kind of has more than one meaning in this movie, but she's doing this parachute jump, which she really did. They plastered that all over the marketing. Florence Pugh actually did the Halo jump, but it was awesome. It was great to see. So they get this.
She wanted to channel her. She wanted to channel her instant Tom Cruise. She wanted to be Tom Cruise for a day.
So she breaks into this lab for Valentina, and she's trying to get facial recognition to get in to do whatever she's got to do, and she's got this dude tied up, and this doctor stumbles upon her, and they get into this little fight, and he accidentally shoots the dude that she was holding hostage, and then one thing leads to another, and the dude accidentally shoots himself in the fucking head. So she's like, well, all right, screw this. She grabs the little guinea pig that was hanging out. I don't know what they were doing to that guinea pig, but she grabs the little guinea pig, and she gets out, and she blows up the lab, and she's like, that, she completed the mission, but then she needs something, different or more.
Which going back to that scene, if you go back and watch it, you can see in like one of the corridor, you see the two voided shadows in the background, and I never caught it until I saw someone break it down. Say, hey, you notice two voided shadows back there? It's like, oh wow.
Yeah, I saw it Sunday when I saw it again. I said, so we flash to Washington or New York? I think they were in Washington. So they go to Washington. They're having this Congress meeting. We see Congressman Bucky Barnes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Congressman Bucky Barnes. He does this interview, and it's terrible. You can clearly see he's like, brother, why am I doing this? This is ridiculous. I'm convinced that between Falcon and Winter Soldier and this movie, he was having a midlife crisis. He's like, I want to do something different. I'm tired of doing Winter Soldier shit. Let me be a congressman. Why not? I almost destroyed Washington all those years ago, but sure, let me go and be a congressman.
He was an assassin for a terrible government agency called Hydra, and they made him the congressman. Which you got to think about it. People actually voted for this man. He didn't just get put into that position. He was voted for that position. So people actually voted for Bucky Barnes.
Oh, flash forward to 2025. Anyway,
Yes, exactly.
um, so they're having this Senate meeting for Valentina, played by lovely Julia Louise Dreyfus, Elaine Bennis herself. I absolutely love her. I love seeing
Mhm.
Miss Dreyfus. She's so charismatic. I love her. It helps that I'm a avid Seinfeld head.
When I say
Um,
Seinfeld.
but they're having this little meeting, which the main dude that was leading the Congress meeting. Have you seen him in the MCU before? I know the
um,
actor. I feel like we've seen him
he's been
before.
he's been in a lot of things. He's actually going to be in Superman as well.
Oh, he's Perry White.
He's Perry White, yeah. So he's being in Marvel and DC at the same time, which I
In
don't
the
know
same
if
year.
he'll
Look
come
at that.
in the same year, right? I don't know if he'll come back into Marvel since he is about to be Perry White in Superman, but um, this actor has been in a lot of I've seen him
Yeah.
in a lot of things. He's currently in Power book 3. He's in a Star show as well. He's in Power, playing a gangster. He's so he's been around for a long time. I've seen him in a lot of things, but he was good in
Yeah.
the movie too. I liked him.
So they're basically having this meeting because they are suspicious of Valentina doing dangerous things, of which we don't know yet, but they're like suspicious of her doing like dangerous things. And she, of course she's denying it. We get her little sidekick. I don't know the actress. I've seen her before, but this is like the first time I've seen her. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce her name. It's like Geraldine this what Nathan? That I probably butchered that so bad. I know her from Blockers. That's all I know. Oh, I guess she was in
Okay.
Driveway Dolls. That movie was terrible. But I know she was in Blockers. She's like her little secretary slash sidekick.
Assistant.
I found her very bland. I know a lot
Yeah.
of people love this actor, but I found her very bland. Her character had the interests of this remote control to me. But nonetheless, basically she denies all this, and she's playing, fake. She's like, oh, I got this in the bag, and she's like, damn it, we gotta erase all this crap. So Yelena calls her. She's like, oh, I need something different. Oh no, well actually no, we get the Red Guardian scene first.
Right.
So Yelena goes to see Red Guardian, and David harboring it up. He hears Yelena at the door. He fucking washes his mouth with dish soap.
With dish, yeah, that's hilarious.
Yo, both times my theater was like, ugh.
Yeah, that's insane.
Disgusting. So they talk, and Yelena asks him like, "Oh, when was the last time you were fulfilled? Like, when was the last time you feel like you had purpose?" And he says it was when I was saving my country, and I love that. And I saw Sean Chandler. He was like, "Oh, if they had shown all of." The different rooms for the different characters, what would Red Guardians be? And I was like, I feel like we got it in the Black Widow movie. The scene where he's messing with the action figure.
Yeah, because I think most of his stuff isn't terrible. Because I think even when he was, going through all the stuff, he enjoyed all that stuff. So it wouldn't be depressing. I mean, guess the most time he'd be depressed when he wasn't being Red Guardian. So we've seen those scenes already. When he was locked up and stuff like that. So
but
you don't
even
need
in
to see that again.
prison, he was over here doing arm wrestling and having a blast anyway.
Right?
So.
Yeah. Exactly.
But she notices he has the picture of her Pee-wee soccer team, the Thunderbolts, which that's where they get the name from. Which I thought was cute.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the name later. I thought it was cute. I don't know, but she leaves him and calls Yelena and says, calls
Yelena calls Valentina.
Yes, I need my bed. Calls Valentina and says like, oh, I need like another major assignment, like a different major assignment. And she goes, oh, I have the perfect thing for you. I need you to go to this black site that I have. Somebody's trying to go into it. I need you to
Yeah,
stop
someone's
them,
trying to.
and then
Hmm.
you can do whatever you want. And the one thing I'll say is I'm glad that the movie is slow, but at the same time it gets to the meat right away. Like I feel like
Yes.
we set up for 15 minutes and then we were in this scene.
Yeah,
Um,
that's exactly how I felt. I
it,
felt
it
like we
feels
got to
really
the
quick.
scene very fast.
Reminds me of Quantum Mania in a good way, to where they get to
Right.
the quantum realm shit in like 10 minutes.
Right.
So she tells her that like, oh, you'll be allowed to just walk right in. I have I've given you like full on access. I'm like, gee, how convenient. Um, so she walks in and we see that it's Ghost because she phases through the wall. Um, so she walks in and she finds all these notes on something called Sentry, and she sees the little logo and she sees like all the files and stuff. And then she
Hmm.
gets ambushed by John Walker, and we're away.
Yes.
Here we go. Um, I thought this action sequence was fucking awesome. I loved
Yes.
it.
We see a lot of it
I,
in the trailer, but I think they obviously there's more
I
extended
don't
scenes
know.
in
I
it.
feel like we didn't. I feel like we saw a good chunk of it, but we didn't see like there were a couple parts where I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that in this fight. Okay.
Yeah. I think
Um,
the knife sequence is awesome. So obviously we see Elena throws the knife, she catches it, flings it, she catches it, flings it to
yeah,
Taskmaster. Taskmaster flings it and John Walker catches it and use it on Elena. I thought that's an awesome sequence.
yeah, it's
But I
cool.
love the fact that this scene is set up for each character to kill one another. So Elena is going after Ghost. John Walker is going
Elena.
after Yelena, and then
Ghost is
Taskmaster is
going
going after
after,
John Walker, right?
yeah, and then Ghost is going after Taskmaster. I guess
Right.
that's what it seemed like. Um,
Yes. Yes.
but we get this fight, and I love how all of them fight each other at once. That was
Yeah.
really cool. Seeing fucking Taskmaster fight Ghost, and then Taskmaster fighting John Walker, like that. That was cool. I really liked the variety there. Then we get to my biggest issue with this movie. I've had people the entire weekend argue with me. Ooh, that wasn't that bad. Well, it was whatever. It was fine. I also had a good amount of people agree with me and say that was the worst part of the movie by far. The treatment of Taskmaster in this movie should be considered a fucking war crime. I don't want to hear from anybody. Ooh, the character wasn't that good anyway. It was whatever. We're gonna get a new Taskmaster anyway, so who cares? This movie was the perfect opportunity to take this character and give her some emotional depth and weight. So that way, even though we all knew she was going to die, when she died, it would have hit more. Instead of all of us collectively throwing our fucking hands up and going, well, all right, she's dead. Move on. I didn't like this
That's
at all.
that's kind of how they did it in the movie too. It's like she died, and it was like that was it. They didn't reference it or nothing. It's like she's the only one that technically got. Ghost is the only one that got the kill from anyone they was going after in the room, and
I
it's
didn't
it's
like this at all.
it's kind of upsetting. Yeah, it's kind of upsetting. I
I
mean,
I
I didn't get upset about it. I knew she wasn't going to make it because if you watch the trailer, yeah, they put her in a scene when they're in the Avengers Tower, but
Bro,
I
I
think there's
knew she
another
was
shot where
gonna
she's not
die.
in that part.
That's not my problem. My problem is how they did it. We all knew she was gonna
Yeah,
fucking die. We're not dumb,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I just didn't like how like I guarantee you, if they did that to Ghost or John Walker, everyone would be pissed off. But
Oh
because
yeah,
it's
for
fucking
sure.
Taskmaster, oh no, screw it. Because they weren't a fan of what they did in Black Widow. Instead of taking this character and giving her some fucking weight so I could actually give a shit about her. Nah, fuck her. Shoot her in the head. We'll give her the Iron Man 3 Mandarin treatment to where we bring in the real Taskmaster. And like that's so lazy to me. That's lazy.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about, oh, we're getting a new Taskmaster. Oh, the character wasn't that good. Whose fault is that? It's called good writing.
Yeah.
If you had written the character well, because there's several characters in this movie. Like John Walker, I liked him as a character, but not nearly as much as I did in this movie before this
Right.
movie. That's what I'm saying. The same thing with Red Guardian. You know, I liked Red Guardian. Like he was a fun presence in Black Widow, but I liked him way more in this movie. The same thing with Yelena. I liked the
Right.
Yelena, but before this movie, she was cool. She was cool enough. Why couldn't we get that same treatment for Taskmaster? What? Because people didn't like the different version? You're just gonna shoot her in the fucking head and call it a day? That
Yep.
shows that you're listening to these idiots online that don't know any better. That's what we don't need to be doing. But I don't know. I had people all up and down my time. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Oh, it didn't matter to me. Good. I'm happy for you. I'm sorry that I want character depth out of my movie
Yeah.
instead of just
Yeah.
throwing things away because we can't write properly.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree, man. But it was weird because now watching the movie, it's like if she would have been in those scenes with them, throughout the entire movie. Let's say it's Sentry that kills Taskmaster. I think that would have worked better, other
And
than being
I
killed by
think
Ghost.
it would have hit more if they had her a part of this group because she was an outsider. She
Yeah.
seemingly died from that accident in Black Widow, and then she was handpicked by Dracoff. I think that was his name, Dracoff, to be,
Hmm.
Taskmaster and got in her head and all this crazy shit. It would have been cool to have her be a part of this group and, have some resemblance of a family because she didn't have that.
Yeah, and also I think the interaction between her and Elena would have been great because of
Exactly.
what they went through. That would have been interesting as well.
Exactly.
But
But what
that,
do
that's
I
not
know?
that's
What do I know, right?
yeah, that's obviously what we didn't get. I mean, they did shoot her in the head, and obviously they left her. They left the body because throughout this entire sequence, everything is in shutdown mode. So, but also we forgot the fact that as they were fighting, they hit the thing to open up the way to awaken
Bob.
Bob. So that's how he gets awoken. And
Bob.
I love this. I love the line. He's like, "Were all you guys were sent? All you guys were sent." Um, but yeah, so that's what happens with that. The whole thing gets shut down because now Valentina knows that everyone is there, so she shuts the whole facility down, and it's set up to basically burn up. Because she's trying to erase evidence that ties her to any criminal activity that she's been doing underneath the government's nose. Uh, which I did like this whole thing is that Valentina is setting up to even kill all these people that's been working for her just so she can look like she has a clean slate, which is insane. Um, and of course, they figure out a way to get out of there. They figure out a way because she even installed a way for Ghost not to be able to get out, like with sonar or sonic hearing. She can't get out. She can't use her phasing, which is interesting. Um, but obviously, they figure it out. They get out, and I loved all this, man. I loved all this whole sequence. This whole sequence was dope. Um, I want to talk about. We get the first instant after they get out, and Elena and all them gets knocked out. She wakes up in the void state, and we get the first vision of what the void is. Basically, it's like reliving your worst memories or your worst moments. And I loved all this, man. I loved all this because it's funny because remember watching a trailer and we see Elena like run through something and she like falls, and I'm like, oh, that's got to be like a dream sequence, and obviously it was kind of like that. Um, but yeah, I loved all this stuff. But the fact that she was touching Bob's hand, that's why she was in that void state.
Yeah, I like the flashback that we got with Yelena. Um I thought it was fucking dark. Yeah, which I feel like this is the darkest thing we've seen from like Budapest and stuff, which says a lot considering Black Widow was always like, "Oh, Budapest was such a dangerous time in my life." Blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah. And the darkest we've seen of it is from fucking Yelena's POV.
Right. Which is
um,
awesome. The little girl that's playing young Elena is the same little girl from Black Widow that played Elena in the beginning of the movie.
mm, So they get out of the blast and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Val and Mel, I think her name was her little
I think
sidekick.
I think that's her name. Yeah.
They're at this little fun event thing. I don't know. Like Valentina's trying to
Charity
keep her
event.
image, like to a point. The head of what was going on at the meeting, he walks in. He's like, "Oh, look at this! Look at this event. Oh, it's bullshit. Cool."
Right.
Um, Bucky is there, but Bucky's just chilling. Bucky is vibing through most of this movie. He's chilling.
hmm
Um, he goes up to Mel and she says something like, "Oh, so and so said that history can only be understood while going backwards," and which they made fun of the line, but I was like, I mean, you're not wrong. That makes sense, but
Right. Right.
okay. So I don't know why you made fun of the line. That's true, but okay. Um, Basically, he's like, "Oh, here's my card. Call me if you like." He's trying to get her to join his side because he knows that Val is doing God knows what, and he doesn't want her to fall under that stuff. And he pulls the head congressman to the side, and he's like, "Oh, we're in a blind spot." He's like, "Dude, just text me like a normal person. What's wrong with you?" And he's like, "Oh, we're putting up a big packet for the meeting." He goes, "Packet?" He goes, "Yes, Bucky. Read
Yeah.
the packets."
Read the packets.
So we get back to the group, and they they're trying to figure out a way out, and um we get a conversation between Bob and Yelena, to where Bob is like, "Oh, you guys can just leave me behind. It's whatever." And Yelena's like, "No, dude, you're gonna die." And he's like, maybe I'm kind of okay with that." And she was like, she's basically talking him out of it, and then when she realizes that her advice is kind of hypocritical because she feels the same way, we see that later in the movie. She kind of jokes about it. She's like, "Oh, you just gotta, stuff down your grief, bury it deep
hmm
down." um, so they break open this hole in the elevator shaft. I guess that's what it was, and they're like, "Oh,
hmm
well, what now?" And John Walker does something that I've never seen Captain America do in my life. But I was like, well,
Jump
okay. He
extremely high,
fucking
which
does, yeah.
yeah, but I do believe Captain America can do that. We just never seen him actually jump.
That's what
He
I
does
mean.
have the ability to like kind of like he can I feel like he can do that. I mean, we also seen the scene where he can jump out of a plane without a fucking parachute. So I'm sure he can jump really high, like John Walker did. But it's so weird because when he does it, I'm like, what happened? I thought he disappeared for a minute. But then
No,
you see him
I kind
fall.
of
It's like,
figured
oh
what
yeah,
happened.
he jumped to see how high it was, and it's like, of course he is too high.
I like
He
how
can't
they
go up
go, "Oh, can you do it again?" um, so they're trying to get out, and Bob has the brilliant idea of doing a military crawl up the elevator shaft. So they're all, arm in arm together and all that, and they're crawling up the elevator shaft, and they're crawling for a while, and they realize they're not even halfway through. They're halfway up, and it's like insanely high, and they still have a huge fucking way to go.
Yeah, which is
Um,
insane because these guys must have super legs because how long you guys have to hold each other up, also moving your legs, and if the one person slip, you guys are all falling.
yeah, which I thought
Insane.
they were gonna do. I thought they were gonna do the thing to where they couldn't work together and they all fell. But by the time they got to a certain height, I was like, "Oh no, they're not gonna do that."
Yeah.
My brother says Bob is the most sympathetic villain in Marvel for sure. He's not even a villain. He's more of a misled person who learns how to deal with his emotions. I found myself really liking this. He's one of them. I don't know if I could say he's the most sympathetic, but
Right.
he's up there. Um, so I like how John Walker's like, "Whose heart shaped butt is that?" And then
Mhm.
Ghost is like, "That's not my butt. That's my suit. I made like a special suit and I put all my life savings into it." I found
Mhm.
that funny. Now, my the one question I had was, can she walk around without that suit? I don't think so because in the
I don't
post
think
credit
so
scene,
either.
she was still wearing it.
Hmm.
So does she just not change out of that suit? I mean, I don't know. I
I
guess
don't
not.
know. It's weird because her she can also phase without having a suit on, right? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
but it's not controlled.
Right.
She
So
says
maybe
that she made the suit.
the suit helps it the suit helps it control her powers. So she probably
Yeah,
can't take it off.
she probably still sleeps in that big tank thing from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Hmm. I won't
Um,
be surprised.
so they end up getting to, I guess, the top.
Yeah.
And Bob says that he gets out of control and that he says cucumber to help him take his mind off, and that apparently when he
Mhm.
sneezes, bad things happen. I don't know what that means because he sneezes and nothing happens, but
Right.
uh he goes to sneeze and they're like cucumber, cucumber, cucumber. And John takes the Yelena's baton and grabs onto the wall, and then they all fall, but then they all catch each other, which I love. I love that
Hmm.
they're all there for each other.
Yeah.
And Bob sneezes anyway.
Right.
uh,
And nothing happens.
yeah, which is why I was like, I don't know what you mean by that, but he so John is helping Bob get up, and then he gets, his little void scene to where we see that he took the loss of Captain America very seriously. Like him losing
He took it
Captain America
hard.
very seriously, to the point where he neglected his wife and his kid, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. Which shows, how much of a soldier he was, But I feel
Right.
like that kind of proves the point of why Steve Rogers was such a better choice than John Walker, because
Right.
Steve Rogers wasn't a military man, and that's why it worked.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he wanted to be in the army, but he wasn't in the army yet before he became Captain America. John
Hmm.
Walker already served. He served. He done all the accolades. He was. It's like I like to say. It's like they also say it in this movie when they find out Bob is what he is. It's like you. I think Mel said it's like you give Steve Rogers the Super Soldier Serum, you get Captain America, but you give someone like this
Yeah,
person or someone like John Walker, give them the super soldier serum and see what they turn into, and they turn into straight assholes, you know.
yeah.
But
Um, so we that was a quick little thing, and then he gets out of the void, and he's at the edge of the little shaft. And I
yeah,
love
about
that
to jump off.
somebody pointed it out that they're like, damn, him losing his family messed him up so much he wanted to die. And I was like, that. It's another layer on top of this movie that's like, fuck, man.
Yeah,
Um, so Val sends a strike team to where they're at, and they come up with a plan to, take him out and get out. Bob goes with Yelena, and so she's going to turn on the power because they're using night vision and shit. And Bob starts getting little fragments of what happened, and tells Yelena like, "Yeah, I signed up for this program, but they did these weird things to me. I don't really remember much." And John is, outside, and Ghost went to go get a car or something so that way they can get out.
yeah. Ghost
Um,
went out to go get a vehicle.
so they can't get the power on, so John takes out the first wave, and then Yelena goes back because she hears shooting and all that, and they start taking out guys, and then John is disguised as one of the guys, and Yelena starts shooting at him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Okay. She was like, "Oh, where were you?" And so that was funny. So they all disguise themselves as like these soldiers that are there, and they sneak past Val. They get inside the truck, and the dude at the checkpoint's giving them crap. So Bob runs out with a gun, distracting
Yeah,
everybody,
distracting them. Hmm.
and they light his ass up, and then he falls down, and then they show the bullets or whatever, and then he gets back up, and he goes flying into the air, and then he falls back down, and it sends like everything flying and shit, and it sends
Hmm.
them in the car. They all go flying over the hill. Yelena goes, "Oh, I'll call an Uber." Uh, So then Val and Mel they send him to New York where we find out Mel has, which we all knew, but Val bought Stark
Avengers
Tower,
Tower.
Avengers Tower.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's why they were taking everything out because it been bought by her, which I do
which
believe she bought it a while ago. They just been waiting to do. I think the blip delayed everything from being constructed. Then when the blip happened, after the Avengers did what they did, they said, "Oh, back in production. Let's build this watchtower."
yeah. Um so they Yelena, Ghost, and John, they all go, they start walking, and eventually they come across a hill, and Yelena, gets down because she hears a car, and it's a limo pulling up, and somebody's beeping the horn aggressively, and we see it's red, and we're like, oh, here we go. And of
Yes, sir.
course it's Red Guardian. He comes out, Yelena,
Yeah.
Yelena.
Which how the hell? How did? I think I did. I guess he was in the limo driving
Oh yeah,
Valentina.
yeah, I missed that. Yeah, he was driving Val and Mel, which I found fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
But
because I expected to be somebody that was going to help them. I didn't expect it to be Red Guardian. I thought it was going to be somebody else. I thought it was going to be Bucky. I thought Bucky was going to be driving the limo. But being Red Guardian, okay, it make more sense. Because I
oh
was
yeah,
like,
I
well, how
guess
the
I
hell
didn't
did he?
mention that Red Guardian has a limo service now,
Right? Yeah. Yep. Yep.
which of course he
Uh,
does.
yeah, the fact that he knows that it's them, what was they standing up that long for him to recognize that it was them?
I don't
I
know,
mean,
bro.
it's so random. It's a movie. It is what it is.
It was
But yeah, I love to
hilarious
see
though.
he's telling him like, "Don't go. She's going to kill you."
It was,
It's
it
so
was, it
random.
was. That was probably the biggest laugh I had in the movie. I was like, I love that man. So we get them all in the limo, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And John wants to get to the airfield to separate, I guess. And Red Guardian's like, no, we got to stay together. We are the Thunderbolts. We gotta stay together. And they explain the whole Pee Wee soccer team thing again. Um, and then Val's people, they pull up on the car, and we get the action sequence that we saw in the trailer where they're trying to take out the Thunderbolts, and Ghost tries to phase, and they have the same thing, I
Yeah,
guess, that was in
Sonic,
the
Incredible Hulk.
facility. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. It sounded
I
like
was
it
thinking
too.
about Incredible Hulk. Yeah,
So she gets back in the car, and then Bucky pulls up in the most badass
looking like
way,
looking like the damn Terminator.
to which my theater erupted both times when it happened. That shit was awesome. I love that Bucky is kind of the dad of the MCU at this point, to where he
Yeah,
shows up and everyone's like, "Come on, but you were invited to the cookout. Let's go, bro."
yeah.
um,
Yeah, he
Love it.
shows up and he I love that like Elena's shooting and then the car just explodes. She's looking like I didn't do
Mhm.
that. Like she immediately is like I didn't do that. I'm like, well, someone has a mind gun. Like the fact that he has a gun that literally spits out mines is hilarious. And I love that callback
From
because
Winter
that's the
Soldier.
gun he used in Winter Soldier. It's like, oh, that's awesome. That he still has it. And he kind of looked like his facial expression looked like he would be in Winter Soldier mode. Of course, he wasn't. Um, but yeah, I love that he takes out these trucks that that shot is awesome of him driving driving the motorcycle, do the little wheelie. Well, he latches the hook first, does the wheelie, grabs the hook, wrap it around his arm, and smashes it into the ground. It's awesome. Awesome,
It's good
awesome,
stuff.
awesome. Um, so yeah,
You
obviously,
need to take over. I've been talking a lot.
yep. Bucky obviously takes him out. They're happy to see him. I love Red Guardian's reaction. Oh, it's the Winter
That's what
Soldier.
I talk about.
Yeah. And then of course, when Bucky takes them out, let me see what happens next. Is this the next thing we get? Sentry, where Valentina is talking to Sentry about
Yeah.
who you are and what you do. Yeah. I love this scene too. Because Valentina goes into the void and we see her like terrible, memory. my guess is either her father or her mother was killed or something like that. Something happened like that. She witnessed a murder. I remember that. I don't remember exactly who it was. I don't know if it was her father or it was her. It was someone close to her. I'm trying to remember. But she witnessed that,
It
and
was
then
a
when she
father.
comes back, it was the father. Okay.
Yeah.
But I love when she gets out of it, the look on her face, like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm dealing with right now. I need to install something to get rid of you because I don't trust you. I love that whole expression that she gives. I think we do get a sequence of her training with him. He's learning how to use his powers, but I kind of wish we would have got more of that. We only get one sequence of him breaking the glass, and then when we finally see them again, he knows how to use his powers, which is weird, but it is what it is. Um,
I feel like she did something to him we didn't see. I feel like
yeah,
low key it kind of like elevated his powers. I don't know if the belt buckle and shit actually enhanced his powers or something, but
right.
mm.
Yeah, it was weird because I heard a lot of people complain about that. They wish we would have got more scenes with Bob
I wish
learning
the
how to
whole
use his
movie was
powers.
longer.
But
I could have watched that movie for three
yeah,
hours.
my only pushback on that comment is that when we finally see him going against the uh the Thunderbolts or the New Avengers, whatever you guys want to call them, when we see that scene, it hits harder when are surprised what he can do. So the fact
Hmm.
that we was able to see what he can do, it wouldn't be surprising when they fight him. But moving on, we have let's see what happened next. Now we're back with the Thunderbolts. Bucky kidnapped them, and talked about, hey, I'm taking you guys with me. You guys are evidence against Valentina, so she can go to jail. He gets a call from Mel, and basically, she tells him like, hey, we got this guy here named Bob, and you need to come stop him because he's unstable. And I love Bucky's reaction, like Bob. They say literally Bob like 10
Bob,
times. Like, goodness gracious, like how many times we're gonna say Bob in this scene? Um, but they all realize, yeah, we gotta go stop Bob.
bro,
Valentina grabs him. So
we didn't get the scene. So earlier in the movie, forgot to talk about this. That they kind of praise John for being, who he is, despite having a family and a kid. And Elena's like, well, how do you do it? And he's like, oh, well, it's just something you look forward to when you get back. That's what you're waiting for. No, that's what's waiting for you. And then so in this scene, Bucky reveals like, yeah, his wife took the kid and left him. To which
oh
Yelena just
yeah,
looks at
right.
him and they just stare at each other for like 5 seconds. And
Yeah, because
you
he was just
see it on
gloating.
his face.
He was just gloating about having his wife and his son, and they're not even together.
Like
It's
you
messed
just
up.
see it on his face. Like, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, like I said, my hats off to all the characters and all the actors. They did a great job. Like I said, the camaraderie, it's amazing. It's great. Watching them do interviews is like, man, these people really like each other. You can definitely tell
Oh
they
yeah,
really work well together. You
they're.
know,
I can't remember the last time. I probably the Suicide Squad that I seen a cast this close to one another.
but close and relaxed. Like they just all seem so relaxed around one another when they're
Every day
out
they're
and about and
releasing
stuff
new
like that.
pictures of them doing stupid shit, and I love it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So yeah,
The
we get
blooper reel
that
for this movie
scene.
must be amazing.
Yeah, I'm ready to see that for sure. For sure. I'm just ready for them to announce the steelbook. What's the steelbook gonna look like? Because I'm pre-ordering it hands down. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, next we get. Are we already going to New York already? We're going to New York already, right? After this,
Yeah.
and this how I know the movie felt pretty fast because once we got to them going to New York and them going to the Watchtower, which I love the sequence. They just go in and immediately start fighting the guys, and she's like, "Hey, you guys could just come up. You guys didn't have to do that."
Well, no, we forgot the scene where they're in the trunk and they're going over each of the little things they have. Elena's like, "Oh, I
Right.
got this gun, and I got these little taser zapper things." And John is like, "Oh, well, I got this gun. It's a 45 long barrel." And Elena goes, "Well, what about your hat? You like your
Oh
oh,
yeah,
what you like your hat?"
they do
She,
mention the helmet. It's
he
hilarious.
goes, "The helmet? Oh yeah, it's my hat." Oh, do you like the hat? I loved it. I needed more scenes like that to where they were just
Yeah,
like, "Oh, you got this, you do this."
talking to
It
each other.
reminded me of
Yeah,
reminded me of No Way Home. Like, oh, you have web shooters. We can't do that. We can't shoot
Right.
webs organically. But I loved it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. The character interactions are great. Even the bad moments where they're talking down on one another is great too, which we'll get to that a little bit later. But
Oh,
yeah,
brother.
Elena literally goes off on all of them. It's hilarious. But yeah, well, so yeah, we get the sequence. We get the sequence. We're going to New York. They fight a couple guys. Valentina said, "Hey, you guys can just come up to the tower. Like you guys didn't have to do that." So they get to the tower and they approach Valentina, and then of course we get the reveal of Century, which I'm so glad I didn't see. I remember seeing the boots. I didn't see what the costume looked like. So this was the first time we seen it. I didn't see no trailers or no images. I didn't even
So
see the
they
Funko Pop
showed
or anything
the
like that.
yeah. So I seen it in the Funko Pop, but to me, it didn't look nearly as anything like that. Like it had the same colors and stuff, but I don't know. I guess I was still taken aback in the movie, like what it looked like. I think in the trailers they only showed the braces and his feet and the
Yeah,
buckle. That was it. They didn't show. I didn't see any TV spots that showed him fully. So
right.
good on them for that.
Yeah, because even like the void state, we don't really see anything. We just see like it's a silhouette, so it's not really like we don't see a costume. So when I did see him step down and was in the actual costume, like, hey, okay, it actually looks pretty good. But this scene right here, man, we actually see like what Sentry can do. Like, he can fly. He's kind of indestructible. He has telekinesis. He can literally move things without even touching them. Like the fact that
Yeah.
he has these abilities, it's insane. Like, he literally just takes Bucky's arm and just rips it off his body and just throws it down like it's nothing. He throws Red Guardian out the building and throws him back. Like, it's insane what they can do. I love that the fact like it's like when they try to touch Valentina and they can't touch him because I guess Sentry is doing something like giving her like a force field or something like that, which is insane too. Um, so
Reminded me of Twilight of all things. That stupid
oh
shit that
wow,
Bella could do in Breaking Dawn Part Two.
oh yeah. She's immune to all the other. She's immune to everything for some reason, you know. But yeah, yeah, I love this whole entire fight sequence. I think this fight sequence was very choreographed, very well. Like I said, it gave me Homelander vibes for sure, for sure. If you guys ever watched The Boys, it gave me whole Homelander vibes, not Superman vibes, Homelander vibes. Because there's also a scene we get where he finally realized, like, hey, I'm a god. Why do I need to listen to you? It's like, oh, I thought Valentina was done. I thought she was DUD, son.
I did
I
too.
thought I was gonna. I swear, if this was rated R, I thought we were gonna see her body like land on a car or something like that. That's what I thought we were gonna get.
Yeah.
Because the way he was talking, saying, "Hey, you said I'm stronger than every single Avenger. That includes a god. So
God,
yeah, I am.
a
Like I
great
am a god.
line. That's a great
Like
line. I turned to Kevin and I said, "Yeah, he's got a point."
yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, so we get this scene where they lost. They fell down the dumps. And then this is the scene I was talking about where Elena kind of like goes off on everyone, say, "Hey, we're losers. Look, Walker, you're a deadbeat." They see all this terrible
No,
shit
no, no,
about
no.
all of
She
them.
says, "Walker, you're a deadbeat. Even your wife and your kid knew that." I said, "Oh,
Yeah,
ho, ho, ho."
yeah.
I said, God damn.
She hit all the wrong buttons, bro. Like for sure, for sure.
Oh,
Um,
oh
but it leads
man.
into another great scene where she walks away and Red Guardian catches up with her and they have a great moment, about, hey, like, I don't see the mistakes. I don't see your mistakes. I see the little girl that, I raised that wanted to do good, that didn't want to do bad. I loved all this stuff, man. I think it was great. I think it was very well acted. I think, like I said, Florence Pugh, man, she just has
This
such a
is some
like
of the best
enduring,
acting I've seen in the MCU in a while.
yeah,
Probably
like,
since Guardians. That's the one thing I can say about Guardians 3. The acting in that movie is very good. But
for
yeah,
sure,
it's been a while since we've seen genuinely like really good performances in the MCU. That
for
was
sure.
great.
But yeah, so like I said, we get that moment, and then, like I said, we get the moment with Valentina and Bob. But she realizes that, oh shit, I messed up. So she tried to use the kill switch on him, and she not successful. But Mel comes in to the rescue and actually hits the kill switch. And then when they walk away, we start seeing the void come out. And when he does like the eye open thing, like, oh well, we know he's not dead. And then we come back, we pan back to the ground, and we see his silhouette in the sky, and everyone's confused. And then he just start destroying shit. And then we get some awesome moments of our characters saving people and stuff like that, which is like I love that we get these little moments of them saving people. Because that's what it's really about. That's what Valentina's point was to showcase that these, she was trying to create a super being that can save people. And these misfits did all that within this moment. And then we get a moment with Lady Guardian saving a little girl, and we see her get voided. And what was your reaction when that happened, bro?
Oh, they gasped both times. The air was gone in the theater. The second time, everyone said, "Oh!" I was like, but when that happened, I immediately was like, "Yeah, they're gonna undo this."
Yeah, for sure.
Because when he first started doing it, Kevin was like, "Oh, well, they're not gonna do this and not undo it." When it first started happening, he was doing it to a bunch of nobody. So I was like, "Oh, they're just casualties."
Yeah.
When you start killing kids, I'm like, "Yeah, no, they're gonna undo this. This is not permanent."
For sure.
But it was a great moment.
Funny. It's so funny because he voids the guy in the helicopter, right? But the helicopter crashes. So what happens to that guy after he gets unvoided?
I mean, the debris is still there. I guess he's just gonna wake up in a pile of fiery debris.
I mean, it's hilarious when I thought about that. Like, damn, that's like when you thought about when people got blipped, and what if they were in an airplane and the airplane crashed? So do they just blip on the ground where the airplane was? Like,
my god, like, what's wrong with you, bro?
I mean, I thought about those moments because I mean, we see a moment in Infinity War that everyone loves to point out that it's like a nod to the Incredibles. We see a helicopter crash to a building because obviously whoever was flying that got blipped. Like that's the reason why it would crash, because the person got blipped. So I always thought about those little moments. But if I'm not mistaken, I do believe they did come out and says when Hulk unblipped everyone, he unblipped them to safe places. So if you did blip in a helicopter, you blipped in a safe spot. So you didn't just like blip in the air.
Void, I don't know about that, bro, because Void comes from a dark place. Well,
right.
I don't know. Let's just
I don't know. I think because I think also when everything gets undone, everyone is just like literally in the place they were at. They weren't just like avoiding in different areas. But I do believe when it comes to like the guy in the helicopter, I do believe he'd probably just blip on the ground. He wouldn't just blip in the helicopter. But yeah, I thought this whole entire sequence was dope. But I do agree with you. I did know that this is going to be undone. Then we get the moment where Yelena just says, "F it," I'm about to just walk into the void and face the void.
I immediately caught it. So many other people came on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, nobody caught it. I fucking caught this shit." Everyone's like, "Oh, she went in there to save John. Save Bob." No, she did not, bro. She went in there because they got their asses kicked and they had nothing. And she did not think that she would be coming back, bro.
You think so?
I believe so, full-heartedly. She did not know what was on the other side of that.
Oh. So you believe she actually went into the void to die?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that was true. I don't believe that's true. But I believe when she looked in the sky, she knew it was Bob. And she was like, I have to go save him. That's why she went in there. Because she immediately went into the void and was yelling, "Bob, where are you? Bob, where are you?" Like, even in the moment of her facing her own vision, she was looking for Bob. Bob, we need to stop this. Where are you?
If she wasn't able to save Bob, I don't think she would have been mad about that. Well,
no, for sure. I mean, we get the moment of them when she finally finds Bob and they're sitting there having a conversation. I mean, I'm sure if she knew, like, I can't stop this. I'm sure she'd be like, all right, well, at least you picked a nice room to be in. You know what I mean?
And
you know,
after the Century fight, I said to myself, "Oh yeah, the third act of this movie is not going to be a superhero third act at all," and I was
yes,
happy
which I
about
like.
that. I was not
Yes,
mad about that. I was like, okay. It made me more intrigued. I was like, okay, so there's not going to be a big boss battle. So how are they going to do this? Because they could not beat Bob without nerfing him. And
right,
I'm glad that they
right,
didn't. I'm glad, they kept him intact. And now we're all asking, well, how are they going to get him better? Because we could use somebody like that against Doom.
right.
Um, so we see Elena going through her different rooms. She goes to the first room that we saw at the beginning of the movie, and then she goes into another Budapest room, and then she goes into another room to where it shows that she has drinking problems, alcohol problems,
Mm-hmm.
which it's just it was so it that hit that was hard to see. It was rough.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, we're getting this in an MCU movie. It's kind of crazy. For all the people who saying, "Oh, this is just a generic MCU movie." No, the fuck, it's not, bro.
Yeah,
This was very different and mature, and I loved it for that. Um, so she ends up finding Bob, and they have this really nice conversation with one another. We see a little bit of Bob's past. I wish we saw more, but
yeah.
it was nice to see. No, nevertheless, um, eventually that this crazy shit starts happening, and he says, "Oh, it's just endless pain, but you're not gonna die," which I don't know if that was a metaphor for something, but I was like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, eventually, everybody else shows up, and they're like, "Oh, you came in for us," and they're like, "Well, yeah." And so they start going through Bob's rooms to try and get out. So they go through his dining room, and they beat the shit out of his dad or stepdad or whatever. Then they go into another room where we get the meth head chicken version
the
of Bob.
chicken. Oh my god.
I got war flashbacks of a Family Guy. Um, but yeah, Bob was a chicken for a drive through on meth. The MCU, ladies and gentlemen.
yes.
Um,
Very dark
and then
stuff.
was there one more room, or did they break out after that? Felt
I
like there
think
was
that
one
was
more
the
room.
I think that's it.
So they eventually they oh no the main thing with Void. So they get
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
lab. They get back to the
That's what I
lab.
thought you were referring to. I knew that was the last like crazy one we get to finally when he turns into when he gets the powers.
So they get back to the lab from the beginning of the movie. So I guess this is where Sentry was created, and
Right.
Void pins all the Thunderbolts up on the wall, and Bob goes after Void, and he starts beating him and beating him, and Void is like, yes, yes, keep going. And you see
Right.
the darkness rising up on Bob, and
Mm-hmm.
Red Guardian breaks Yelena free. She runs after him and consoles him, and she's like, "Oh, I got you, like I'm
Yeah,
here."
you're
And
not
then
alone. Yep.
eventually everyone else breaks out, and they all group hug him. The second time I saw this movie, I fucking lost it. I lost it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
This scene was just phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I loved all the deeper themes and emotions with this movie. I really did.
Yes.
I thought it was so
Yes.
well
It's
done. It didn't feel forced. It's a movie that I think, honestly, without getting into too much, I think a lot of people need to see right now in the world that we live in.
I was just about to say that. I said this movie touches on the main thing that most people deal with now, and it's becoming to be a real disease. Is depression. I mean, dealing with depression is one of the worst things ever you can feel. I mean, I've dealt with a very low grade of depression. People can literally deal with it and like not function in life. Like it's a real thing. And people, if you really feel like you have depression, go find help because it can kill you. It can literally kill you. It can stop you from doing the things that you need to do in your life. And I love that the Marvel of all places, especially with these B level characters, touched on this stuff. Bob been through a lot in his life, and he feels like Elena said, that he's in a void state, like he doesn't care anymore. He feel like nothing matters, and I'm sure a lot of people on this planet, especially after COVID, feels like nothing matters in this world anymore. It's just we're living day by day. What do we have to look forward to? I feel like it's not getting better, and it's the fact that what can make it better? Being around people that care about you, that love you, that want you to see better. That's what matters, and that's what this movie was trying to tell us. And I think it did a great job at that.
Yeah. So they all hug him, and we see the darkness fade away, and they get out of the void, and I don't know if they beat void. I don't know, like, because they
I
hint
don't
that
think so.
it's still there,
Yeah,
but
because
I,
at
I
the end he
don't
said he can't use his powers because of that.
I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna handle that. I don't know how, if in the
It's
comics, how
I
they
I
deal with that.
I, I got a feeling it's gonna be a throwaway line in Doomsday. Like they figured it out, and he's gonna be a super being. I don't believe he's just gonna be Bob. He's not gonna be Bob. There's no way you showcase this character and not use him again in Doomsday and Secret Wars. I just don't believe
Oh
that's
yeah,
gonna happen.
he's in Doomsday.
Right.
Um,
So they're gonna figure it out.
so they all get out, and we see that Bob still has memory issues. He has no memory of what just happened.
Right.
They see
I love that. They're
Valentina.
like, they said, "Are you serious?" They're like, "Are you serious?" I thought he was playing games.
They see Valentina and Red Guardian and Bucky immediately were like, yeah, she's
We're
dead.
going.
We're
Yeah,
gonna go.
we're gonna
And
kill her,
Elena's
right?
like, come on, Bob, you're coming with us. and Bucky's like, we can't kill her, right? Red Guardian's like, maybe a few broken bones. We'll see. So Valentina runs, and they immediately run through a curtain, and oh, the press is here. She did say that. She's like, oh, the press are on their way. Um, so she basically she makes this to save her ass, to where she's like, yeah,
Exactly.
we needed a new team of heroes, and I finally have them right here. I presents the
The
new
new
Avengers.
Avengers.
To which I was the only one in the theater that was happy about it. I was like, hey, let's go. Everyone was like,
What?
okay.
But
I was like,
I think
hey,
I don't know if you said it, but I kind of wish that like someone would have said like, no, we're not the Avengers, we're the
yeah,
Thunderbolts. I
yeah.
kind of would
So
have
I
loved that.
wish,
That would have
yeah.
been
So
pretty good.
what I was telling them is, the new Avengers name is fine. I just don't think it rolls off the tongue the same way Thunderbolts does. Thunderbolts is a
Yeah,
cool
for
name.
sure.
I agree with the Red Guardian. It's a cool name, the Thunderbolts. It's a cool
The
name.
Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts.
Um, I would have loved if, she goes to say we're the new event, and then like John Walker, who was like against the name or something, gets on the mic, we're the Thunderbolts, and then like Red Guardian's like, yes, like that would have been cool. That would have been really cool, and I wish they kept the name Thunderbolts only because of where it came from. If it was like a throwaway name, like, oh, I saw the name on the milk carton or something, and I think it's a cool name, we should use it,
Right.
I would have been like, okay, fine, they're the new Avengers. But the fact that Yelena remembers it from her childhood, and they bring it back
Right.
later in the movie and say, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love being the goalie because I was the one that could protect the team from failure when everyone else failed. Like, I loved
Right.
that. No, now they're just, oh no, they're the new Avengers. I was like, okay. I understood why they did it, and I love how
Yeah.
Yelena's like, yeah, we own you now.
Right.
And then you see Yelena, she kind of settles in, and she's happy with herself. And then the
Yeah,
movie
because
ends.
the goal for her, she wanted to be good. She didn't want to be an assassin. She didn't want to be
Good, and
recognized
also
as doing all these.
part of something
Yeah.
more
Right.
meaningful anyway.
Right.
Um, People say the movie that ended really abruptly. I don't think so. I I thought
No,
the ending was fine. I thought it was
I
cool.
did too.
I did think it was a little rushed how they ease like straight into the press thing, but
Yeah.
in terms of the actual ending, I thought it was fine. I was like, yeah, that
Same.
works.
I agree.
Um, Post credits. Um,
Yes.
We didn't spend that much
First
time
person,
on this movie because the movie is short, but there are
yes,
several other things we need to talk about. So that we are nowhere near done.
right.
um, but post credits. Do you want to talk about the Wheaties box? The Wheaties box.
Yes, the first one is just a stinger. It's nothing too crazy. It's just David Harbour at the grocery store telling a person that's buying cereal like, "Hey, buy this. It's very good for your kids." And he puts the box next to his face. But I'm watching the clip and I'm like, you don't look like that anymore, sir. So you also shaved your beard and you don't look like this guy. And also he has a mask on, so you guys just don't look alike. So the fact that he said it's me on the box, like, well, that doesn't check out. But I love that she just like put the box back and But the final post credit scene, it's more like a scene other than an actual post credit,
Yeah,
which
it's an epilogue.
yeah, it feels like an epilogue, and it feels like something we've been missing because most of the post credit scenes, like I've been saying earlier, these movies just don't feel like they're connected, and it doesn't help that the post credit scenes hasn't been building to the next thing like the first three phases has. Um, this one actually feel obviously we're leading into the next movie, so it's been what 14 months. 14
Yeah,
months was the 14 months later. They're established as the new Avengers. They got a new logo. They actually are inside the tower and everything, and they feel like they're settled in, and they're coming in talking about, hey, Sam is a happy that we're calling ourselves new Avengers. He's trademarking the name. Bucky, I thought you were gonna talk to him. He's like, yeah, I did, and it didn't go well. I wish I would have seen that conversation.
yeah. I don't know. I guess feels like that's something that's like, hello. How the fuck
Right.
didn't it go well when they just had a scene in Brave New World of which they were cool? You mean to tell me that's just gone now? All
Right.
because of a stupid fucking name?
Right. But I think it's not just about the name. It's just the fact that he was set to build the new Avengers team, and then Valentina just kind of took it from under and made them the new Avengers. Uh,
Maybe.
the goal was for him to create the team, and he didn't create the team. That's what I think he was angry about. But that's just me speculating that. That's what I would think his point of view would come from. But um, we get Red Guardian come in with a little snippet like, "Hey, I found out the reason why where he's not smart. I'm very smart. It's Avengers with a
Avengers.
Z, so no trademark," which is hilarious. But Elaine is like, "Are we? This is why we're the new Avengers. This is why we're the new Avengers
This
with
is
the
why
Z
we
because
suck.
of that
Mhm.
comment." Yeah.
Mhm.
But also she's like, "Oh, maybe we aren't very good because we're not even being told about something that's going on in space." And I love John Walker's line. What are you talking about? We don't have enough
Mind you,
space.
I saw this. I don't know how real that is. That's like that doesn't seem real. That seems like something that we need to wait and see on because
Any,
yeah, Nightcrawler's
anything.
gonna fight Mr. Fantastic. That doesn't sound fucking real.
I mean,
I
anything that
need to
has to
see
do
that
with
in context.
I'm not going to pay attention to anything when it comes to Doomsday leaks. I know they're already
No, it wasn't
filming.
a leak. He was doing an interview or something. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be fun." Like he was talking about filming. And they told him like, "Imagine fighting Pedro Pascal or something." I don't know. I
Ah,
was
okay,
like,
okay.
okay, I don't know. That seemed like something. I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, but they talk about, hey, show me something in the sky, and then they see that it's a ship falling out of the sky, and of
Did you
course
realize
the
what it
ship.
was before they showed the logo?
Yeah, I knew exactly what it was. I mean, I already knew it was gonna be Fantastic Four related because they say, I forgot what the term they say. Did they say extra dimensional or something like that? They say something dimensional. Basically, it's
Yeah,
not of our dimension. So I'm like, oh, the only thing that hasn't come through this field yet is Fantastic Four. So I already
yeah.
knew what it was
I'm
leading
looking at the
into.
ship. I was looking at the ship, and I was like, "Oh, it's a ship." And everyone around me was like, "Ooh, okay." I was like, "It's a ship. It's the problem. It's a ship." And then it turns, and they show the logo. I said,
It's the
"Oh!"
four.
I was like, "Okay."
And
I
I
was
was
like,
like,
"All right."
well, it looks like we're gonna see how they come into 616, which I do believe that this is a scene from Doomsday, but it's
Yes.
gonna probably be a little altered in the movie. Because this was scene was also directed by the Russo brothers.
Mhm.
So I do believe that this is the Fantastic Four being introduced into the 616. We'll see how they leave in Fantastic Four most likely, but Doomsday will show them actually going into 616 dimension. But I thought this post credit scene was dope. This is what we've been wanting from every single post credit scene in all these Marvel movies that has come. You know, I don't care about Harry Styles being Thanos' brother. I don't care about that. You get Charlize Theron showing up in the MCU movie, and she's just in the post credit scene. We haven't seen anything from her. What the frick are y'all doing? I'm trying to think of all the other post credit scenes that we've gotten, which has been
Hercules,
nothing.
Love and Thunder.
Hercules, like what the fuck? Like, oh my goodness, like yeah. So yeah, this is dope.
It said the new Avengers and Bob will return.
Right,
Surprised it didn't say Avengers Doomsday. It's like we already know that they're coming back in Doomsday, but
right. They're all
whatever.
been
Is it?
announced.
I feel like that's the first time in a while we've seen so and so character will return.
We got that for Star Lord.
They did say that. They said that. Did they say that about Captain America from Brave New World? I don't remember.
I think so. But
They did, I
even
know
their
they
post
didn't
credit
say
scenes
that.
is not that very.
I know they didn't say that for like Captain Marvel or nothing for for the Marvels.
I don't remember. I need to go back and watch the Marvels.
I
It's
was
been a
thinking
while since
about
I've
the other
seen it.
day.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
That's the new Avengers or Thunderbolts, whatever you guys want to call it.
Yeah. Right. So kind of want to shoot the shit, if you will, about where we're going because there's a lot of things in the air. We have one more phase. We have one more movie left until Doomsday. We have Fantastic Four. That movie, I don't think is going to set up Doomsday very much. I think it's going
No.
to.
Post credit scene at tops. We'll get a post
I
credit
don't know.
scene.
I
That's the only
mean,
thing
we might get other stuff in the movie, but I don't think the point is I don't think it's going to be like unnecessary viewing for Doomsday outside of the post credit scene,
right.
which worries the shit out of me because
No, I don't think so. Because I think the Doom we're going to introduce isn't a part of their universe. This is going to be a
yeah,
separate Doom. And the only reason why I feel like Doom will be connected to Fantastic Four because he most likely probably already destroyed the Fantastic Four that's in his universe. So that's where I think he's going to recognize them. So, hey, I killed you guys already. I can kill you guys again. Like I think it's going to be more like
which I
that.
mean,
Other
if
than
we're looking at the track record for Fantastic Four versus Doom, they must have been really sucky at their jobs if he was able to
yes,
kill them. Let's be real.
for sure.
But
Well, I mean, this Doom has to be very powerful if he's doing everything he's going to be
yeah,
doing. So,
but um, yeah, it has me worried walking into Doomsday. We have very little setup. This movie did not set up anything, nor other than the post credit scene, nor did I really want it to. To be honest, I wanted it to just be its own thing, which is fine. Same thing with Fantastic Four. I like it being in its own little isolated bubble. But my
yeah,
thing is, we're walking into Doomsday, and there's just so little setup.
yeah,
And
yeah.
people said the same thing about Age of Ultron. Like, oh, there wasn't that much setup for Age of Ultron. You're right. But the thing is, Age of Ultron wasn't that big of an Avengers movie. It's an Avengers movie, but it wasn't on the scale that Doomsday and Secret Wars is about to be on.
No, but also what helped Doomsday or what helped Age of Ultron was that we already knew the characters. We even though we know who's going to be in
We knew the
Doomsday,
Avengers.
we don't have that much connective tissue to anyone that's going to be in this movie. Obviously, we have the legacy X-Men characters, but we don't know which version of these characters we're going to get. We don't know whether or not they're going to be the X-Men characters we know, or they're going to be some new iteration of this character. So the comparison from Age of Ultron to Doomsday isn't the same because
Which I think I would be
we
interested in seeing. I would be interested in them bringing back these actors, but they take the Deadpool and Wolverine route to where it's a variant, but it's the
it's
same
different,
actor.
yeah,
I think
alternate, yeah,
I think that could actually be kind of neat if they do that, especially with fucking Magneto. Could you imagine
yeah.
a variant of Ian McKellen's Magneto? Good lord.
Yeah,
They
for
could
sure.
make this man even more diabolical than he was in the original run, bro.
Right, for sure, for sure.
Um, it's just I'm not really excited. I'm not. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
sure, I loved this movie, and I think Fantastic Four is going to be very good. But when all is said and done, that's it. That's all we have. Fucking Ironheart and Wonder Man are not setting up Doomsday, bro. They're
no,
not.
definitely not.
Unless we get a
Definitely not.
surprise special presentation before Doomsday for some character, this is it. This is the
Yeah,
final stretch.
yeah,
When the post credit scene
yeah,
ended, I looked at Kevin and I said, and away we go, because now
yeah.
we're on the road to them attempting to stitch this shit together.
Yeah, it doesn't help that they, of course, it was supposed to be the Kane dynasty. We were supposed to be leading it. We were supposed to be following the Kane story, and that didn't work. So now they got to pivot and do something else. But like I said, I kind of agree with you. At this point, I'm just like, it is what it is. Because this, like I said, we can't even compare it to the Infinity War, because when Infinity War, you know, we never seized planet to this character till we were getting to Thanos. We've already seen Thanos prior in 3 other movies. We saw the Infinity Stone show up in most of the movies, and we knew we were leading into that. You know, the marketing, that's the one thing that's to help this movie, is the marketing. You have to market the hell out of this. If they do need to start showing stuff, we need to start seeing stuff to see how this movie
I
works.
I
Like, and
really hope. I doubt
try
it, but I
try not
really
to
hope.
leak as much, but we need to see something. Like I said, like, the movie comes out in what, July? Is it July? Or
Oh
is it
man,
May? Is it going to be, is it May? Okay. So let's say it comes out in May. We need to see something. It needs to be like how Infinity War came out. Well, we got the trailer in November. Like, we need to see a trailer in like November. We need to see something of
I
this movie.
I really hope somehow. I doubt it's gonna happen, but I mean, if this scene that we got was a scene from Doomsday, that makes me a little optimistic. Maybe we can get a teaser trailer at the end of Fantastic Four. I
Maybe
don't
like,
know.
'cause I was thinking about remember when the first Avengers came out for Captain America, we got this small
Yeah.
trailer, and that was basically over a year prior. Like,
Hmm.
I, like, when I saw that movie, I wasn't expecting to see an Avengers, like a 30-second spot. I wasn't expecting that. So maybe we might get maybe we'll get like a post credit scene, and the final scene is a trailer for Doomsday. I
I
think
I
that'd be
feel
dope.
like I feel like the MCU really underestimates how cool them doing that is. Because I remember when they did that for No Way Home with the Multiverse of Madness trailer, I was ready to
Yes,
run around the fucking theater. I was like,
I
"Yo,
forgot
let's go!"
they didn't have a post credit scene. I forgot it was a trailer for Doctor Strange at the
And
end of that movie.
and that was one of the few times that it wasn't a post credit scene, but it felt like, okay, we're leading it right into the next thing. Like that was
Movie,
cool.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I hope they do that. And like I said, am I excited for Doomsday at this moment? No, I'm not. Like, I'm not at all. I don't care what characters you say are coming back. Even if they say, "Oh, Chris Evans is coming," "Oh, Elizabeth Olsen is coming back as Scarlet Witch," brother, I don't care. If anything, that makes me more concerned when you do shit like that. So,
Yeah, we'll
and
see.
as Alex has been telling me, he's probably tired of fucking telling me for the past God knows how long. All we can do is hope. You know.
Yeah, that's all we can do at this point. It'll be here before we know it. Like, it'll be May before we know it. I will see Doomsday, and I'll be ready to play GTA 6 in the same month. So I mean, it'll be here before I know it.
May is gonna be a big month. We got unless they
This
delay it,
month,
which
big.
I don't know if they're going to, because they're both Disney, but we got Doomsday and the Mandalorian movie in the same month.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's looking like how this month is. This month is pretty stacked.
Which I
I
don't know.
mean,
I think they might move the Mandalorian movie just so Doomsday can have its IMAX run to itself instead of it getting
I can see
cut.
that. I can see them doing that.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's both Disney anyway, so they're probably gonna be
Right.
like, we're both getting the profit. We're getting the profits from both fucking things anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, the other thing I briefly wanted to touch about before we get into the little ranking I wanted to do is that this message goes out to DC. and Warner Brothers. I don't want to, jump over to the other side, but I think if I was James Gunn, I would get my head out of my ass real quick
Hmm.
because this weekend proved that there are a lot of people still invested in this in the MCU. And I think now is more pivotal than ever to start marketing fucking Superman. The marketing for
Yes.
Superman has been absolutely atrocious.
Where's the second
The
trailer at?
first the first trailer was solid. The sneak peek I kind of didn't really like. It was fine.
It's
Um
fine.
we need to start marketing this movie. The marketing has been
Yes.
fucking atrocious, and I have not heard a single person mention Superman in a positive light, and I can't even tell you how long. Everyone is talking about the MCU in some shape or form, whether it's Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, or Doomsday, or Daredevil. One of the four people have been talking about it. Nobody's talking about Superman. And that's a fucking problem. Because
Yeah.
you're launching a new universe. They had it easy in 2013. 2013, the MCU was still getting its footing a little bit. All they had was Iron Man 3 and Thor the Dark World in 2013. You could release a Man of Steel and make an impact. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
that opportunity anymore. Whether,
Right.
no matter how worried I am, you're walking into a superhero territory of which they're preparing for possibly a bigger event than Infinity War and Endgame. And you're
Mm-hmm.
sitting here on your hands without marketing your movie. That's launching your new universe. A universe
Right.
of which people have beyond lost faith in, and this is the movie that's supposed to bring them back. We've seen
Right.
fucking nothing from it.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
You need to
Makes no
get your head
sense.
out of your ass and start marketing this shit. Because if not, bro, people are saying, "Oh, it's Superman. It's gonna make guaranteed $1 billion." Really? In the same month of Fantastic Four coming out, you think so?
Yeah, it only takes that Fantastic Four is a 5 out of 5. Like it's a no pun intended. It's fantastic. Like if it's better than what we anticipate it's supposed to be, Superman has no chance, regardless of
Because
how great the character is.
before when the trailer came out, I said, okay, maybe this is gonna have a chance. But truth be told, I said the same thing about Indiana Jones. I didn't think Indiana Jones looked all that good, but I said, oh, it's gonna make a good chunk of movie. That chunk of change, that movie fucking bombed. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
Superman is gonna bomb, but I think a lot of people have lost faith in this movie, and unfortunately, I'm one of them. So whatever you need to do. Apparently, we're getting a Superman trailer at the end of the month. For what movie? To attach it to what? I don't know. But they need to fucking do something and do something fast because
For sure.
nobody's talking about DC. And sure, Thunderbolts just came out this weekend. Everybody's on the weekend high, sure. But the point is, going into Thunderbolts, it was the same situation. Nobody was talking about
Mm-hmm.
DC.
Yep.
The only time people talk about DC and Superman is when they drop something related to Fantastic Four and they say, man, Fantastic Four has all this marketing.
Where's Superman?
Superman, yeah.
It coming out in the same month, but like I said, we only got one trailer and a sneak peek.
It's the meme of the dude with the stick poking something. Come on, do something. I don't know. They need to do something. That's my little PSA for DC because I don't want to see them fail. But I mean, like, come on, bro. You're not making it easy for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So if you guys have seen Thunderbolts and you guys enjoyed it, let us know down below what you thought about it. We both give it a 4.5. We very much enjoyed it. I've seen it twice. I will be seeing it a third time this weekend. I'm taking my mom for Mother's Day. She wants to go see it, so I will be taking her to go. Moving on, we're gonna do a really quick ranking of MCU Phase 5 because this is the last Phase 5 project.
And I'm kind of wondering if we got the same ranking, which I guess we'll find out.
Well, I have shows and movies. I don't have only movies.
I didn't add the shows. You
Well,
want me to add the shows in? I didn't add the show. I just added the movies.
I mean, there's only so it's only for shows. It's only Echo, Agatha, Secret Invasion for you because you didn't watch What If.
I didn't watch What If, and I didn't watch Agatha.
Oh, so then I know where one of the shows is going. I don't know where the other show is going.
Right.
So you can go first since you have less than me.
All right. So, like I said, I'm not gonna add the shows because I separate the shows even on Letterbox too. So, movies wise, I'm gonna just go movies. So, obviously, there's only what 6 movies, right? 6 movies in this phase. So, I'm gonna
Two,
go from
four, five,
six,
six.
6 to 1. So, 6, Ant-Man 3, 5, The Marvels, 4, Captain America: Brave New World, 3, Guardians 3, 2, Deadpool Wolverine, number 1, Thunderbolts.
I'm surprised you said that about Deadpool and Wolverine because I know you like
I've been
really like that movie.
I really like this movie, but um I thought about it the other day and I wanted to watch it and I'm like, well, if you put the movie as its own, like even without what the movie is, does the movie work? Like without the cameos, without Hugh Jackman coming back, like all that stuff, like what would a third Deadpool movie look without those elements? And I don't know, man. Not saying it's obviously it's a really good movie, but after seeing Thunderbolts and the levels that that movie took and the message that it was trying to tell, Deadpool Wolverine don't have a message to tell. It just doesn't. As much as we think it does, it
Right.
doesn't have a message to tell. Thunderbolts does with some characters that we don't care about. It's Deadpool Wolverine. Of course, we're going to care about those characters. I did not care about John Walker. I did not care about Ghost. Ghost is an irrelevant villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but you guys maybe care about her. I like Elena. Obviously, I like Florence Pugh. She has a very interesting face to look at. She's very good looking. So I can't, I like her, but I didn't care about her. Now you guys maybe care about her. You guys did it. So Thunderbolt is the best movie of this phase for sure, hands down.
So I have shows and the movies in here. So number I guess it's 11 because Loki season 2 is in here too.
Right.
So
You put
11 would
Daredevil as well.
be. Oh, I fucking
Daredevil.
forgot about Daredevil. Yeah, I think I can know. I think I know where it would go. So number 12, I guess. 12 is What If season 3. This is by far the worst season of Disney Plus television they've ever made. I thought it was fucking
Hmm.
atrocious and
Well, I'm glad I
embarrassing.
didn't watch it.
Um,
Oh, are you adding X Men '97?
uh,
Is that part of this phase or that's next phase? Or that's last phase? I think
no,
that's last phase.
it was this one. Uh, you're messing me up.
That's
Uh,
and this is
thir-
why I don't do this for that reason.
so 13 is What If season 3. Okay, number 12 is Secret Invasion. This is one of the most boring shows I've ever fucking watched in my entire life.
Straight
It
dumpster
is.
fire.
It, it's hard for me to say it's bad. It's just boring. It's so boring, and it wasted a great comic book run that could have been its own Avengers arc in and of itself. So
I
that
agree.
I think that's what pisses me off about it more than anything. Number 11, Agatha All Alone. Yes, I like Agatha more than Secret Invasion by much, just because um there were a couple of episodes in here that I liked, and I think it's more imaginative. But with that said, it feels almost as boring. Um, it's a show that has horrendous dialogue, garbage characters to me, and further proves that they need to stop giving these random side characters these projects. There was an audience for this movie I wasn't in. Next is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is my least favorite MCU movie, bar none. I hate this movie. Um, it is a miserable viewing experience to me. I think it is incredibly boring. The CGI is fucking appallingly bad. The green screen is some of the worst I've ever seen in my life. Um, and they completely fumbled Kang. This was awful. I think I semi liked it when I first saw it, but I think I've seen the movie twice, 3 times altogether. I mean, and every time it gets worse, and it's to the point where I probably will not watch this movie again because Kang is no longer. So, um, number 6, the next one, I lost count because Alex kept throwing shit at me. So the next one is Captain America: Brave New World. I do not like so from Quantumania to this is like a huge jump. Not entirely huge in terms of quality, but just I like this movie basically. I thought the movie was okay. I thought people kind of overdid it with their criticisms. It has a lot of issues, but I think once it finds its footing, an hour and change later, the movie is really good. I like from the Top Gun sequence until the end of the movie. I think it's honestly a lot of fun. It's just
I agree.
everything before it is kind of messy and a horrendous villain reshoots out the ass, but it's a fine watch, you know.
They did Anthony Mackie dirty. They did him dirty. At least
Anthony.
I believe he deserved better than this. It's a
Next,
Hulk sequel, bro. It's a Hulk sequel. That's what
it
this
is.
is.
It is. Next, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Oh my god, how could he do this? Shut up. Please shut up. Guardians 3. It's a movie that I've watched several times in trying to see this amazing Odyssey that everyone loves. The best of the MCU. Oh, it's so good. It's top 5 MCU. Um,
Is it
can't
though?
relate. I can't
Can't
relate.
relate either.
The
I like the
movie,
movie, but goddamn, it ain't that good.
I think the movie is shot very well. I think once everything with involving Rocket is very good, and the last 30 to 40 minutes when they all get back together, that's when I really get into the movie. And the awesome mix is cool. The music is cool. Um, I find everything before they get back together that does not involve Rocket miserably boring. I find the humor fucking atrocious for the most part. And I think that's just the biggest issue is the humor is just not funny. And when so much of it makes up the movie, it kind of bums me out.
Yeah.
So it's a movie that I think is very fine. It's to the point I've come around to Guardians 2 more than I have this movie, which I can't believe that's the case. But
Yeah.
this is my least favorite of the Guardians movies.
Wow.
It is what it is. Next, Echo,
Wow.
the show that everyone hates. Um, I honestly
I actually like the show.
96% of the show I actually really like. I think episodes
Mm-hmm.
1 to 4 are very solid. Everything with Maya's a great character. The way she gets her powers is very cool. Kingpin is amazing as always. Vincent D'Onofrio kills it. It's just the finale is so rushed and
Mm-hmm.
so half-assedly put together that it kind of puts a whimper on the whole show. But
Yeah.
I do appreciate that it tells an effective story very quickly. This is like a 2.5 hour binge, and I appreciate that. It's to the point where we get like every time I get back to this project, I look forward to it just because of how quick it is, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I very much enjoy Echo. I do. Um, next is Daredevil Born Again. Actually, no, scratch that. Next is the Marvels. The Marvels. Yeah, I know.
About to
Oh my
say.
god, how could he like the Marvels? Oh my god. Oh my god, he likes the Marvels more than Guardians 3. Oh my god. I like this movie, damn it. This movie is so much fun. Is it messy at points? Does it have probably the worst MCU villain of all time? Probably. But I like the Marvels. I think it's a lot of fun. I think the cast is all great with one another. I think they have great chemistry, and it's just a fun movie. It reminds me a lot of Thor: Love and Thunder, and I like Thor: Love and Thunder a lot. So do with that information what you will. I really like this movie, and it's kind of one of my MCU comfort movies, so where I can just throw it on. It's very short, which I also
Yeah.
appreciate about it, and I can just throw it on and have some fun. You know. Next is Daredevil Born Again. I think this is the one MCU project we dived like deep into, huh? We did
Yeah,
we
for
did a
sure. I think
stream for the
everything.
beginning. We reviewed every episode, and then we did a stream for the finale. So people can't say we're
Right.
not Daredevil fans. Um, Daredevil, man. It was a very conflicting viewing experience because a lot of people liked the new stuff more than the old stuff. I think me, Alex, and AJ actually liked the old stuff more than the new stuff. We found the new stuff to be just okay. Um, I honestly really loved the old stuff. Episode like 3 to 7 or 8, I loved. Everything that was done by the new team, I didn't really like personally. I thought the premiere, the more I thought about it, the more I did not like that episode. The CGI in the show is fucking atrocious. And there were just things that felt very rushed, like Muse. But
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a show that it went through trouble and they showed it, but they did what they could, and even for a show that had trouble, it's still pretty okay.
Yeah.
And I think season 2 is going to be better.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Next, Deadpool Wolverine. This is a movie that the concept of this movie kind of bugs me to where it's a amusement park carnival ride with cameos and shit. Um, Unfortunately, it's looking like that's what Doomsday is about to be. I really hope not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Pushing that aside, the movie's a lot of fun. I really enjoy this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. I love Ryan Reynolds here. Hugh Jackman, I think, is so great. The action is
Yeah.
great, and I love the way they bring in the Deadpool humor. I feel like this movie, they did the cameos okay. And like I think when I think of cameo porn to me, I think of Multiverse of Madness. Even though I love Multiverse of Madness, I feel like that's the example to where it's like, yeah, we had cameos for the sake of cameos. I feel like
Yeah.
I
Talk about
love,
the Illuminati scene,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
I love the idea that the cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine were like, yeah, they were exiled from their worlds and they got a chance to, fight for what, they used to believe in. That's cool to me. I really like that. The villain is absolute ass. Um, and it's kind of thin on story, but I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's another MCU movie that it's a comfort movie for me. I can definitely throw it on and just vibe with it, and chill.
For sure.
Um, Next we have Thunderbolts slash New Avengers. Um, we talked about it for an hour. It was almost 2 hours. I really like this movie. Next I'm gonna go with Loki season 2. Loki season 2 to me was a lot better than the first season for me. I know that's a hot take in and of itself. But I loved the second season. I thought it was so engaging, so weird and wacky. I kind of love when these
Hmm.
MCU shows just go out there. Like, I love
Yeah, for
shit like
sure.
WandaVision and Moon Knight because they go to the upteenth degree to confuse the fuck out of you with all this crazy shit, but keep you invested. That's how I felt about Loki season 2. I thought the acting was great. I thought the storyline was great. I loved Kang in this show in
Yeah.
Loki. This watching this made me upset that they're now continuing this, but
Right.
it is what it is, man. Loki season 2, I love the way it ends, and I'm excited to see where they go with
It's
Loki.
so funny that show probably kind of ended the whole Kane thing though. It kind of
Yeah,
ended it.
and then number 1 is X-Men 97. Let me tell you
Yes,
something.
sir.
X-Men 97. This is how you get people invested in something that you do not give a
Yes.
fuck about.
Yes.
I
Yes.
had never watched anything regarding X-Men 97 at anything. I watched the trailer to this and I said, it looks cool. Like, not like, oh, it looks cool. Like, I was like, it looks really cool. But I didn't want to watch it because I hadn't watched the other show. I didn't want to feel left out. AJ watched the first episode and said you could, or however many they dropped at once. They said, "Oh, you could watch it without watching the show." I said, "Bet." Other than the I think JoJo Mojo episode where they were like in the arcade and shit, I didn't like that episode at all.
Mm-hmm.
This fucking show was just phenomenal. Some of the best animation I've seen. It made me miss hand drawn animation so bad.
Yes, I agree.
Um, this is easily the best the X-Men have ever looked, including every single movie we fucking got, bar none. I'll argue that shit to the grave.
Yes,
And it was just awesome. It felt so cool to see a cartoon. I'm gonna call it it's a cartoon at the end of the day. It's a
it's a cartoon.
cartoon that's so mature and felt, so real. And like I just think of the episode that I coined the Red Wedding for the MCU. That shit was crazy. I remember watching that at work, being like, "What the what?" you know, um, it was amazing, man. And if this is any indication of what the X-Men are going to be like in the MCU, give it to me now, bro, please.
Sure, for
But yeah,
sure.
X-Men 97
Wow.
is my favorite project in Phase 5.
Yo, the things they do, man, with Storm and fucking like Cyclops, like the fact that they actually do the Jean Grey and Madeline Pryor storyline, like yo, like they really went in on that show, and man, I'm so happy how binged it. Like, oh, that's such a great binge. You talk about a great binge. X-Men 97 is a great binge.
Yeah. Hey, man, if you guys want to rank MCU Phase 5, include the shows and the movies, go ahead in the comments.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, got our last thing. You got physical media, Tyler?
Nope, I'm broke.
I have some physical media to show.
Go ahead, Chuck.
So the first thing I'm going to show is, I know my quality is probably terrible now, so I'm going to pause on what I got. I finally picked up Megan. I bought the glow in the dark slipcover.
See, so now you got no excuse. You have to do the watch along with us in June before Megan 2.0. You have to. You just have to.
That's the reason I bought it, because the new one is coming out. I actually did see this movie. And I thought the movie was okay.
When did you see it?
I watched it with my wife. I watched it a while ago, but I thought it was okay.
Mark my words, that movie's gonna grow on you, bro. I'm not saying the movie's high art, but it's entertaining as fuck.
It's okay. So I did end up getting the Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim. I think that's how you say it. It came with a slipcover. Surprisingly, it came with a slip, and yeah. So that came with my 3 for 3. The other thing that came on my 3 for 3 was the Terminator. I bought the slipcover for Terminator, but it didn't come with a fucking slip. I'm very upset. That's the reason why I bought it, because I wanted a slipcover for it. Because I have the slipcover for the second one. And no, that's the only one I have. The second one. I wanted the slipcover for this, and I have Dark Fate. I have Dark Fate on 4K. So, and of course, if you guys didn't see, I got Joker. This was the 3 for 3 from Amazon that I got. Was this these 3 movies? So I got 2 movies I didn't own, and then 1 movie I did own, but it's another copy of it. So, but yeah. And then I bought Megan. So most of these movies I didn't own in my collection. So I'm getting better at buying stuff I don't own. So yeah, that's everything I picked up. Nice. Updates.
Yeah, man. So next week we will be taking a long overdue break. Good Lord. Feels like we've been live so many times.
Every week.
Yeah. So we will be taking a break next week. From the Wednesday. So Sunday, as I mentioned, Sunday when we did our New Hope watch along, which was a lot of fun.
Which I was upset I wasn't there for that.
Sunday, as of right now, we will be doing a watch along for Final Destination 2. That will be at 9 p.m. Because AJ wanted to do some Mother's Day stuff with Stacy. So yeah, we're gonna do that at 9 p.m. as of now. We'll let you guys know if anything changes. But next Wednesday we will not be live. The following week we have to figure it out, but I'm gonna say right now we'll be live Tuesday for Dead Reckoning Part 1 at 7:45. Yes? No? Yes.
Might can do that. That might be better than Wednesday.
Well, no, it has to be Tuesday because Wednesday I graduate. That
Right,
Wednesday.
right. Okay, right. Right. So yeah, I could definitely do Tuesday for sure.
So it's got to be Tuesday, and we're probably gonna start at 7:45 because we're gonna have to talk about The Last of Us, and then we have Dead Reckoning, which is fucking 2 hours and like
Three
almost
hours
45
long.
minutes. So yeah, that is the idea. Dead Reckoning Part 1 will be not this Wednesday, but the following Tuesday. And we're going to start it a little earlier, just so that way we can talk about The Last of Us. And we also have to talk about 2 episodes of The Last of Us. We're going to talk about episode 5 and 6. Which I thought we were going to be talking about the finale for Dead Reckoning, but we're not. We're going to be talking about the finale on the final Reckoning, which I'm kind of happy about. We get the final Mission Impossible and then
Final
the finale
episode.
of Last. So I kind of
Right.
like how that worked out. Um, but yeah, we'll have a 7:45 start time for that, so we can talk about those 2 episodes of The Last of Us, and then we'll start Dead Reckoning, hopefully at 8 o'clock. That might be the one week where I'm kind of just like, yeah, the episode was good. Come on, let's go.
Right, for
um,
sure. For sure.
and I posted a spoiler-free review of Thunderbolts on my page. I made a rare review appearance, so go check that out if you haven't already. I will try and start doing more reviews again once I finish up with school. Yeah, that's. Oh, also, thank if you guys have not already subscribed to our channel. We just hit 281 subscribers today. Very happy about that. We set the goal for 300 by the time we get to Fantastic Four. Let's make that happen. So if you guys are listening to this and have not already, please leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Follow our Instagram. The link is down below. And shit.
We're honest with you guys. Hope you guys have a good night.